Hi, in this session I'd like to explore walking meditation and look at it from a number of different viewpoints. In general, we're walking all the time, right? We have to walk to get somewhere, we walk to work, we walk to the bathroom. We're constantly actually walking, and we're not really even aware or able to necessarily bring our mindfulness into our walking practice. So you can think of this as bringing your mindfulness practice now into all those moments when you're walking. I want to look at it in the sense of looking at walking in informal ways and then formal ways. And in particular, the last way which I'll demonstrate, which is walking when we're in like a retreat or in a practice session. We'll call that the formal walking meditation. But there are many other informal moments. You can think about moments like if you're somebody who walks to work, or you're involved in walking here and walking there, this kind of informal walking. And how do we bring mindful awareness to this? In both practices, we're learning how to unite the mind and the body together, how to synchronize and bring attention to the actual act of walking, the sensation of actually lifting up the foot and exchanging the weight and setting the foot down on the other side. So there are many ways that we can bring our attention, just like in sitting meditation, where we're bringing our attention to the sensation of our breath. In walking meditation, it's about embodied movement. We're really paying attention to the body and then synchronizing the breath with the body and then watching the mind. Where does the mind go while we're walking? So when you're just doing regular walking, walking to work or walking to the store, you might become aware while you're walking of how many breaths happen and how many steps are connected with that walk. So you might notice that there's 3 steps to your inhalation or to a whole breath. And so you begin to just notice that and pay attention to the number of steps that are connected to your breath. And this is the part of synchronizing breath with the body together. And after a while, you may find that the breathing maybe gets faster, and so you may notice that the length of breath steps get fewer, or as you relax more into the walking, you may notice the breathing gets longer and that you notice there's more steps. So you're just becoming aware of that. But the ground of it is paying attention to the body. Next, you may decide to do what we call a formal informal. In other words, in our mindfulness and nature program, we send people out for walking practice, walking in nature. So you might decide to do a nature walk, and we've done a guided practice that Maxine leads where it guides you into how to bring this kind of mindful awareness into being in nature. So you may find that you're not walking really super slow, but you're walking in a slow, mindful way into nature. And in this kind of walking, you may find there are fewer steps with the breath. You might notice 2 steps. And that each time you're out in the practice, you work to slow the breathing down. So there's a sense of, just like in our mindfulness practice, the sense of ease and relaxation that we want to bring to the walking. But when we're walking in this way, we might become aware of the sky. We might become aware of a tree. We might become aware of a bird. And so we might stop in that moment and let our awareness actually become one with our environment. Thich Nhat Hanh, who teaches and leads many wonderful ways of exploring the power of walking meditation, speaks of how we need to bring our attention right into the present moment through our walking. He suggests when you're walking in this way that as you step forward and as you're inhaling, you take a step and say, as I breathe in, I'm walking with the earth. As I breathe out, I realize the earth is within me. So this sense that we're walking in relationship to the world around us, and that actually our walking becomes an act of peace, a sense of making peace with the moment and bringing all of our attention and our awareness into the present moment. The other form of practice is what we'll call formal walking meditation. So many of you may be watching this that are attending a retreat or attending trainings with us at Sarana Institute, Or you're developing your own practice at home where you want to include walking meditation as a practice that you link together with your sitting practice. So in this form, we're working with it in a very conscious way, and the movement then is very slow. And so we'll find with this kind of walking practice that one breath may actually be just taking a step forward, and one breath may be taking a step onto the other foot. I'd like to show you, just as part of that practice, the way that we place the hands when we're doing this. Because we don't want to just have our hands flailing in space necessarily. We want to actually bring it into an attentive way. So in this practice, in a formal way, you take your left hand and you wrap your fingers around your left thumb. And you'll see that in that it creates a little hole at the top. And you can place it wherever it feels comfortable, maybe at the solar plexus. And then the right hand fits right into the spaces of your hand, and the thumb just rests in that open hole. And it's just a place to put the hands while we're in the walking practice. So in a moment we'll shift, and I'll take you into exploring actually and guiding you into some formal walking meditation. So I'll be with you in just a moment. Hi, I'm back. So we can imagine now I've got up from my meditation cushion and I'm going to begin my practice of walking meditation. So I'm going to place my hands, and that's the first thing. And the real part of the practice that's important here is that we want to be fully present with the whole act of how we're walking and how we can bring and unite the mind and the body together. And it creates a kind of synchronizing where the breath and the body and the mind all come into relationship. So the eyes can be gazing softly down, so there's a real sense of ease that I'm not looking at anything specifically, peripheral vision. The body is relaxed, and there's a soft smile on my face. It's always a reminder to not take ourselves so seriously. And so we'll begin the practice by, as we inhale, just shifting our weight onto the right foot. And then we can try, then as we inhale, we're going to step through and put our weight over onto that left foot. So that as we inhale and exhale, we feel this sense of shifting of the weight from one foot to the other. And this kind of walking at first may make us a little wobbly because we're using our muscles in a very slow, conscious way. So there's a way that you're fully aware of the whole process of shifting your weight, coming onto the toe, then lifting the foot, coming onto the other heel, shifting the weight, really feeling this movement of how the walking actually takes place, really connecting to the ground. So at first we're learning actually to walk in a new way, because normally we don't walk this way. Normally we walk very quickly. So here in this slow walking, we're learning to bring our attention in a very conscious way into the foot, into the floor. The body relaxed. And then with practice, then synchronizing the sense of this slow movement, feeling that you pick up the foot, shift the weight, and step onto the other foot. And then we'll begin to work with, as we get comfortable here, with synchronizing the breath here. So I inhale, shift the weight, exhale, step through onto the other foot. Then I inhale, step through, shift the weight, exhale. And for each of us, our breath is different, so it may take a whole breath just to shift the weight onto that foot and prepare to lift it. And for others of us, the breath may be longer, and it may be just one breath for each shifting and then stepping through. and we smile. And then we become aware as we concentrate. Remember, the first skill of mindfulness is focused attention, that we're really paying attention here to the breath, to the body. But we're also paying attention to the mind. When we're practicing at home, it may be a hallway that we're just walking back and forth along. There's a sense of ease. We can even practice, as I inhale, I'm present in this moment. As I exhale, just this moment. The sense of not leaving the moment. And you may find that your mind has traveled away, and maybe you stop in that moment in your walking. Be aware and touch that your mind has wandered, and then come back to the breath, come back to the intention to feel your feet, to feel your connection with the inhalation and exhalation. So whether you're practicing this in a formal way, whether you're practicing it walking out in nature, or you're walking to work, really see that walking meditation is about connecting your body and your breath with the mind. And that in a sense, this act of walking in this way is making peace. Because there's a calmness, there's a restfulness that comes from our practice. So whatever way you're bringing walking meditation into your life, for some people it becomes their main practice, especially runners. So whatever your practice, I want to just thank you for this time in practicing walking meditation with you today.